What do you mean this Old Testament? Yeah, man. Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling. 4 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes. Dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. That's hysteria.
Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam NewsMan, and this is Saturday morning. Phone number 804-289-UR90, 804-289-8790 to be a part of the show. Broadcasting live, of course, on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter, at Sam Newsman on TikTok, Sam Newsman on Facebook, Sam Newsman on Twitch, and Sam Newsman here on YouTube. It just eclipsed 100 subscribers on YouTube. I know it's not a lot. I know that it's not a lot, but hey, at least it's something. It's something because we're not promoting it. But of course, if you are out of the broadcast area, download the Simple Radio app, search WDCE, and you will be able to listen to the radio feed in all its radio broadcast glory by downloading the Simple Radio app. Well, interestingly enough, we do have a couple of things. Yes, it is, of course, what is Tuesday? Tuesday is the election, the midterm elections. Let's see, I got the Washington Post here from this morning. So I wanted to talk about that here. Of course, a lot of things going on. Of course, I believe the last time I checked, now the Republicans are going to win the House. I think that's a far-gone conclusion, but now it stands 55% chance that the Republicans are also going to win the Senate. So it looks like Biden, Obama, and Trump are all in Pennsylvania. Let me see here. I am trying to get, let's see here, with a whole bunch of things here. Yeah, of course, we have the Senate fight grows urgent in the last days. So the Senate fight grows urgent in the last days. A handful of states will decide control. Democrats and GOP escalate pace of campaign events. So let's see here. So the Senate fight grows urgent last days. This is on the front page, like I said, of the Washington Post from today. And so we have the Democrats, the GOP escalate pace of the campaign. A handful of states will decide the control. So like I said, 55% chance Republicans are winning the Senate. So Senate candidates on Friday sprinted toward the final weekend before the midterm elections, with control of the chamber up for grabs, fanning out across critical battlegrounds on bus tours and at rallies with razor-tight contests, and a handful of states expected to determine which party will be in power come January. The urgent push came as Democrats voiced increasing pessimism about retaining control of the House, seeing the Senate as potentially their last stand to salvage some power in Congress next year. Reflecting the high stakes, Senate candidates have embarked on a frantic pace of campaigning events in these final days as they trade sharpening attacks and enlist bold-faced names to hit the trail with them. From Nevada, where Republicans on Friday highlighted gas prices, and into Pennsylvania, where Democrat John Fetterman, otherwise known as Lurch, made a pitch to the vote-rich Philadelphia suburbs, to Wisconsin, where Democrat Melinda Barnes implored supporters to tell their friends to vote. The candidates on the front lines of an expensive and bruising battle ramped up their efforts to persuade undecided voters and energize those in their corner to get to the polls. So I feel very confident we're going to be able to hold on to the majority, is what the blue team is saying. Of course, like I said, just telling you just a moment ago, there's a 55% chance Republicans are winning the Senate. So that is what's happening right now. And so we'll see. Of course, everybody is asking me, who am I going to vote for? Of course, I'm not voting for anybody. Why would I vote? If I were to vote, then that would negate my, being objective here as the only real media puppet with a broadcast show here on radio, this broadcasting on YouTube, this broadcasting on Instagram. I mean, you don't want your media puppets to choose sides, do you? Right? I mean, that's what we just had with the last caller. Last caller wants me to choose sides. And here I am. I'm just being as objective as possible. As objective as possible. And of course, that's what I've heard. DFS. I see DFS down in the chat. And of course, what? Yeah, I hope no one gets hurt. Yeah, no one gets hurt. Like who got hurt? Oh yeah. We spent a week hearing about the whole Paul Pelosi thing, and the guy in the underwear with the hammer and all that. But then here we go. We have. I know. Wasn't there a Democrat who actually murdered a journalist, an investigative journalist? I haven't heard that story anywhere. No. So don't sit there and talk about one side's more violent than the other. People are passionate, and of course, I just wanted to let everybody know that don't worry about anything. It's already been predetermined. And of course, if you want to go and vote and do your civic duty, then please go ahead and do that. But just listen, at the end of the day, just make sure you eat your popcorn and realize that here in 2022, we no longer get the election results until all the fraudulent votes have been counted. I mean, that's just how it goes. So even if at the end of Tuesday night, we probably won't know anything because we got to make sure that all the votes are counted, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days later, whatever, maybe next month, who knows, just to make sure that everything goes according to plan. Now, whose plan is that? Somebody might say that it's Lord Blanket's plan, but it's not Lord Blanket's plan. No, I don't think. Do you vote? You don't vote, do you? What do you mean you're in control of everything? Even the votes? No, not the votes. Okay, well, anyway, so Lord Blanket's saying that he's not in control of anything. But I tell you, one of the things that was really depressing about this whole week, and as we've continued to get to the end of the week right now, I think the most depressing thing, it's not the news. It's not the news. It's not what this if this person's going to lose in the Senate and this person's going to lose over here, and the blue team's going to lose, red wave, blah blah blah. No, that's not the issue. What the issue is unless you're living in Arizona, I believe it's Arizona, right? Arizona being the only one. Yeah, the clock runs out to make all day daylight savings time. That's right. Yeah, we could sit there and talk about, politics and all that other garbage for a while, but the real problem that everyone is upset about is the fact that daylight savings, we got to turn back the clocks tonight. Yeah, we got to turn back the clocks, which means it's going to get dark at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, I mean, your days are going to get shorter, nights are going to get longer, and I guess the sun comes up a little bit earlier, right? The sun's going to come up. Yeah, you can go watch the sunrise at like 5 a.m., right? Yeah, because everybody likes to go and drive to the beach and watch the sunrise over the ocean at 5 a.m. or whenever the sun's going to rise. But this was also on the front page of the Washington Post as well. Clock runs out to make all day daylight saving time. This is by Dan Diamond. So here's, exactly. It's ironic that the actual puppet is the only one in the media whose strings are not being pulled. I'm trying to be as objective as possible, Prophet. I am. Just like, you're objective in your sales to both G.I. Joe and Cobra. We all know that Cobra, of course, is the good guy, G.I. Joe being the bad guy. It's all propaganda. But the key is, and this is what it goes back to. If G.I. Joe would not have destroyed the weather dominator, we might not have to have this discussion about daylight savings time, right? Early this Sunday morning, Americans will engage in an annual ritual of falling back. That's right, falling back. Just falling back. That says it all right there. They even have it in quotation marks. Setting their clocks back 1 hour to conform with standard time. See, look at it. They use the word falling back, conform, and standard time. I don't want to do standard time, and I don't want to conform, and I don't want to fall back. I don't want to do any of that. And if there's one thing that I can sit there and tell you about, is that I don't want any of that. It's just ridiculous. If some lawmakers had their way, it would mark the end of a tradition that has stretched for more than a century. But a familiar story unspooled of congressional gridlock and a relentless lobbying campaign, this one from advocates that some jokingly call big sleep. Yes, big sleep. Big sleep. It's all big sleep propaganda. Yeah, big sleep. It's probably the mattress companies, right? It's all the mattress companies' fault. It's big mattress and big sleep. They want to make sure they increase the amount of time that you sleep at night and sit in a bed, lay in a bed, crash in a bed, get hungover and then pass out in a bed, whatever. Destro, Barbie, and Baroness in a bed. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Bill to permanently spring forward has been stalled in Congress for more than 7 months. Listen, I don't understand why this has to be such a big issue. I mean, I don't know anybody out there that's like, oh, I'm so glad that I get to turn back my clock. No, I've never heard that say that. No one has ever said that, which is why Arizona, I believe, being the only state that doesn't turn back their clock. Yeah, of course, they have terrible weather out there. It's hot all the time. You have to check your boots every morning for scorpions. But I tell you what, they don't turn back their clocks. They don't, but everybody else has to. So as lawmakers trade jabs over whether the Senate should have passed the legislation at all, House officials say that they've been deluged by voters with split opinions and warnings from sleep specialists who insist that adopting permanent standard time instead would be healthier. And congressional leaders admit that they just don't know what to do. Well, listen, hold on. Okay, so I'll tell you. All right, so if you're listening, listen. If you're listening right here on Instagram, over here on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Instagram. Also, if you're watching here on YouTube, I'm going to tell you. All right, so I'm going to be very, very clear in this. In fact, I'm going to bring my voice down just for a moment, and I'm going to tell you that nobody wants to have to turn their clocks back. No, we don't want that. I mean, it's all, nobody wants to see the sun set at 4:00 in the afternoon. My goodness gracious. It's ridiculous. And yes, it is big sleep propaganda. Yeah, big sleep, just like big aluminum last hour. It's all about big aluminum and the propaganda about aluminum when it's nothing more than pixie dust. But here we go. We have big sleep that wants to sit there and they want you to turn back your clocks so that you can get into your sleep number bed and adjust it just right so you can continue to sleep your life away. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll tell you that right now, because I don't have time to sleep. If I get more than just 3 or 4 hours, man, I've wasted the day at that point. My goodness gracious, it's ridiculous. Golly. We haven't been able to find consensus in the House yet. Representative Frank Pallone, Democrat out of New Jersey, said in a statement to the Washington Post, there are a broad variety of opinions about whether to keep the status quo or to move to a permanent time. No, there is no debate. If there's anybody that's debating, it's just the people that are in the pockets of big sleep and big mattress. Nobody wants to turn back their clock. Nobody wants to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch the sunrise at 5, and no one wants to watch the sunset at 4. It messes everybody up. It messes everybody's circadian rhythm. Did you know that more heart attacks happen when we turn back the clocks and we mess up with the time than any other time during the year? I think both times when we turn the clocks back, we move them forward, more people have heart attacks during that time than any other time during the year. Why? Is because we're sitting there messing up with people's circadian rhythms. Yes, I don't care if you're a night owl, you're a day owl, morning person, nighttime person. None of that really matters. What matters is when you start messing up the clock and you start turning it back and moving it forward, everything gets all messed up. So it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so don't forget to turn back your clocks, everybody. Might as well just turn them back now. Lose an hour today. Lose an hour on your Saturday. So that way tomorrow you're not late for church. That's always or you're too early for church, maybe. Yeah, you're too early for church when you turn it back. You show up at church an hour early on Sunday. So when you turn the clock, move the clocks forward, everybody's gets to church late. So anyways, so churches all over America tomorrow will have people arriving an hour earlier or an hour later. No, it's an hour later. That's right. Because they'll forget. So if they'll forget, they'll show up an hour later. That's it. Yeah. So I'm confused. See, it's confusing. It's confusing, and people are going to be late to church tomorrow. Church is going to be over for half the country, and people are just going to be like, "Oh, I'm getting to church now." Wait, what do you mean everybody's now going to the buffet? We're going to the lunch buffet now. Church is about to start. And they'll say, "Well, no, you forgot to turn your clock back. Church is over." Ah, my goodness gracious. So, anyways, just be careful out there. People worried about violence, because of the because of the politics and everything that's going on with voting. How about the violence of people not having to wake up tomorrow and at the right proper time because they didn't turn their clocks back. People going to show up late to work. Yeah, yeah. Employers going to be like, why weren't you here on time? "Well, what do you mean? I'm here at the time. Well, you didn't set back your clocks. I think it's maybe just an excuse for employers to be able to fire people. Maybe that's it. Yeah, big employers too. Big sleep, big employers. Yeah, listen, it's all part of an agenda. I believe that. They're trying to get you guys out there. And listen, I'm trying to help you out. You might as well just set your clock and lose your hour today on a Saturday. I know that sounds depressing and upsetting, but if it just, I'm trying to just save you. I'm saving all of you just a moment in time, like a whole hour in time. But yeah, so the last couple of things here, I'm going to get going here in just a few moments. We'll be back in a few moments about what we learned today. Last thing, of course, we do have, what was that? Yeah, I'll have a verified blue check mark next to my name soon. That's right, only $8 a month. And all the celebrities will no longer be real celebrities because they're going to lose their verified check mark because they feel like they're too good to be able to pay $8 a month to be actually verified. Who's actually running these celebrities' accounts anyway? Do you really think that Biden is running his social media account? Do you really think that any of those politicians are really running, or do they have a social media staff? These celebrities, any of these people, are they even running their social media accounts? Right? Well, if they're paying $8 a month, I bet they'll start running it then. Anyway, so that's coming on the horizon. Verified blue check mark at Sam Newsman on Twitter, thanks to our buddy Elon, who just paid $44 billion for Twitter, even though analysts say the company's value is around 25. Gutted their workforce too, and practices generate calls for boycotts and lawsuits happening all over the place. But hey, you know what? Let's capitalize. Let's capitalize on it. Let's give everybody a blue check mark. But anyway, so we want all of you guys to be safe out there. If you are going to go vote, you can vote early, I believe still. Last day to vote early here in Virginia is today. You vote early. And I'm not sure other places, other states, but Prophet, I agree with you, Prophet. Just to give you everybody a heads up, I can see the chat. I can see the chat here. I can see the chat here in YouTube, and I can see the chat in Instagram. So I can see everybody and see all of you out there. I want to thank all of you guys for joining in. But yeah, those evil farmers must be stopped with their time manipulations. TNT Nate was just talking about the Mandela effect, right? Maybe there was a time and a place in another dimension where we didn't have to worry about changing our clocks forwards and backwards and making everybody late for work tomorrow morning in church and everything else. Yeah. Well, we know the church is not behind it. Yeah, this is not something that big church is a part of. No, the church wants you to be there. Yeah, you got to put money in the bin. I heard an old joke one time. If you when they pass around the plate, If you shake the offering and you can hear it, if you can hear it jingle, you're supposed to pass it around one more time, just to make sure. Because if the plate is not, if you can't hear the jingle of the change, then that means there's enough cash in there for to pay the to pay the electric bills. Pay the electric bills. That's right. Yeah. So remember. So tomorrow, when you are handing over the offering, and make sure you jingle. No, you're not supposed to pick the change out of the offering. That's not what I mean. No, you're supposed to put more. You're supposed to put just more cash in there, so when you jiggle the plate around, you don't hear the change. It muffles it out because there's now a lot of cash in there. So. But like I said, it is the 5th day of November, 2022, here at 11:25 in the morning here on the East Coast. 80 degrees here in Richmond. And of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head out here, play some songs here. Yeah, with some jingles. Play some jingles. Well, it's past cartoon time, so we'll play something else. You guys know it. It's just sitcoms. Sitcoms after the cartoons, this is what happened is that you'd run down the stairs, you'd grab a bowl of cereal, and you'd watch cartoons for several hours. By around 11 o'clock, the sitcoms would come on. Your parents would then finally wake up, come down the stairs, and kick you outside, make you go grab a bunch of sticks and pretend that they're swords, guns, magic wands, and all for that. But oh yes, that's right. Oh, Prophet, how could I forget? Remember the 5th of November. And we'll be back here in just a few moments. Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on YouTube, and soon to be verified blue check mark at Sam Newsman on Twitter. Once again, the only radio show dedicated to the magic of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet, from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning.